morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. I didn't have my diabetic eye clinic appointment yesterday because the clinic was canceled, which was good for me because the appointment would have been at 3 o'clock and I get off at 1:30. So I would have had to sit around the hospital for an hour and a half. So I wasn't disappointed that the appointment was canceled. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video. And this is a video a question that was on my mind. I have lots of questions about cancer. But this is a question that was on my mind. Is that do people who have PTSD have a higher incidence of cancer? And basically what it is because I'm not medically trained. I looked it up on Google, and Google said that people with PTSD do have a higher incidence of cancer. And one of the cancers that have a higher incidence of is breast cancer, although they can get gastrointestinal cancers and they can get ovarian cancer. But because the reason why I'm asking this question is because this morning I was watching a YouTube video about this girl who had been assaulted, and she got PTSD from being assaulted. And as per normal, the police didn't do anything about it. And the police, not only did the police not do anything about it, they had instructions just to disregard her calls because she was considered mentally unstable. But really what it was she had PTSD from being assaulted is what the problem was. But she didn't tell anybody that she had been assaulted because the individual who assaulted her threatened her. And that caused me to think about my own life. I've had a terrible life. I don't know why I'm even still alive. I'm still alive because the NHS has kept me alive. And because when I was around 50, they scraped out the endometrium of my uterus, and that kept me from bleeding to death. And then I had another, something called Quincy. Again, that was life-threatening, and they removed one of my tonsils, and they drained the abscess. And that I would have died from that. If the abscess had ruptured, I probably would have died. So that was 2 incidences when I could have died, and the NHS saved me. And but all those other instances when I've had these really terrible experiences when I was a child and when I was an adult, they never have been addressed. I was just expected to get on with it and get on with it. And so somehow or other, I was able to block out all of these terrible experiences, but obviously they affected me. And then I had boyfriends who weren't very nice to me, telling me I was mentally ill and stuff like that. But of course, nobody ever helped me with my problems. I had one boyfriend telling me I was mentally ill and he wanted me to go see a psychiatrist with him. But he was one of the reasons for my distress because he was a hoarder and I couldn't cope with the hoarding. So these individuals telling me that I was mentally ill, they were causing the mental illness, and so that just got me to thinking, I know I have PTSD because I tend to rock, and that's soothing for me sometimes, and I think that that's a result of having PTSD. But it just got me thinking, do people who have PTSD, do they have a higher incidence of cancer? And yes, according to Google, yes, people who have PTSD have a higher incidence of cancer. So all of these instances that I've had where I was told I was mentally ill, and again, the police didn't do anything to help me either. The police just said that if I contact them, if I write them a letter, they're not going to answer. They're not even going to read it. And the thing is with police, if you are seen, if you are believed to be mentally unstable, the police don't have to respond to you. And so basically the police don't respond to me because they say I'm mentally unstable, and it's just a cop out because they don't want to do anything. And so because they don't want to do anything, they say the victim of the crime is mentally unstable. And mentally unstable or not doesn't mean I'm not a victim of a crime. And it doesn't mean, perhaps the reason why I was mentally unstable is because I was a victim of a crime and I didn't get any support. And I certainly never got any support from the police, just like this girl in this YouTube video that I saw this morning. She didn't get any support from the police too. They just wrote her off as being mentally unstable and would not entertain her. So there you go. When we've got a situation of the police being ineffective, and you've got a situation where people who are victims of crime, who have PTSD, aren't being supported by the police or other people for that matter, and so they end up getting cancer. And so I've got breast cancer, and I do believe that having PTSD didn't help. I know I have PTSD. I don't have the illness that they say I have, but I know I have PTSD. But just because I'm not saying I don't have a mental illness, but I don't believe that I have the mental illness that they say I have. But I do believe that I have PTSD. So I think that concludes this video. And now according to Google, people who have PTSD have a higher incidence of cancer. And I came down with breast cancer, so I'm just another statistic. And so that's going to conclude this video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to making more videos for you in the future.